Welcome back to the Essentially You podcast, all about reinventing your health with safer, cheaper, more effective natural solutions and powerful lifestyle changes so that you become the CEO of your health. I am your host, Dr. Marisa Snyder. Okay, real talk. How would you describe your energy right now? Or even over the course of the last month? Are you rocking some serious energy from sunup to sundown, or do you find your energy slowly draining throughout the day, especially by 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening? Now that you took a quick energy assessment, I want you to take a moment and imagine what it would feel like to have more energy, like 20 to 30% more in the next 30 days. What if that was possible? How would you feel with 30% more energy, especially when you need it most? In my quest for more energy, because let's be honest, we are all on a quest for a little extra energy, I have been fortunate to learn that you can regain energy by simply adding the right rituals to your day with very little effort. Increasing our energy can be created by daily self-care habits and rituals. It can be that simple. Your energy is a direct response to how you nourish your body each and every day. And I can speak from experience because there was a time when I was completely on empty and I honestly thought I would never recover from that. Emotional and physical energy that you create coming from daily self-care shows up in how you approach everything else in your life, including your relationships, your career, even your creativity. So if you've been wanting to boost energy by creating some simple yet effective daily rituals, this episode is for you. Now today is a Q&A Friday, and a question that I recently received about creating a morning ritual that actually works for your life no matter what's going on is what I want to address today. Today's question was sent in by Patricia Wagner. Patricia reached out to me because she had been feeling extra tired since the start of COVID, and she's feeling overextended and wants to find a way to focus on her that's easy and helps to give her energy back that she feels like she's lost over the last 4 to 5 months. Can you relate to how Patricia is feeling right now? Here is Patricia's question. Marisa, please tell me you have some energy solutions for me. I know I need to start to focus on me, and it feels like my energy is down the crapper, especially right now since COVID in March. Can you share a couple of strategies that I can implement to have me feeling better? Now, this is such a great question because let's be honest, many of us are struggling with energy and self-care neglect these days. I think it's time to literally remedy that today. Now, when it comes to self-care and when it comes to nourishing our bodies, one of my favorite quotes is by Maya Angelou. She says, "If I'm not good to myself, how can I expect anyone else to be good to me?" If we want to be treated differently, we must treat ourselves with grace and love first. And that's where self-care comes into the conversation. Self-care is vital to boosting our self-confidence, maintaining good health, increasing our productivity, focus, lowering our stress levels, and yes, increasing our energy. Taking care of ourselves means that we are at our best when we need to take care of others, whether that's being a parent, a spouse, interacting with coworkers, or running our own business. When we talk about self-care, you're taking an inventory of how good you feel. So how would you rate your feel-good levels today, or over the last week, or even the last month? Are you feeling happy, energetic, and emotionally well? In my practice, I would ask women to rate their energy levels on a scale of 1 to 10. So how would you rate yourself right now? I know we did a quick assessment in the beginning, but if you were to rate yourself, 1 being the lowest on the energy scale and 10 being the highest, where do you stand? And now that you have a number, whether it is 7 or 5 or 8 or maybe even 9, what self-care or self-love ritual would help you move the needle 1 to 2 notches? Again, it's that 20 to 30% that we're talking about because this is never about perfection. It's about progressively moving in the right direction. Now, that first step to really boosting your energy levels with the added side benefits of feeling good overall is having a morning ritual that is authentically yours. And the great thing about it is it can look any way you want. Yes, it can be effortless, especially if you're thinking to yourself that you do not have time for another thing. Now, I'm a big fan of having a morning ritual that nourishes you and sets the tone for your day. It's much easier than being in a very fast-paced, energy-draining danger zone when you're able to start your day on your terms by doing something that nourishes you. Now, to give you a little bit more, I actually have a special gift for you at the end of this episode very shortly, so definitely stick around all the way to the end. Now, for years, I believed that I didn't have room in my schedule or in my life for a morning ritual or routine. But every morning was fast-moving chaos. Yes, I was efficient. I've always been efficient. But it felt like I was in a rat race before I actually started my day. And the rest of my day, no surprise, followed in suit. It was no wonder that I needed coffee literally at 11 and then at 2 and 3 because I felt depleted, and then I was basically done for by 6 p.m. It was during this time that I read this quote by Louise Hay. And she said, "How you start your day is often how you live your life." Now, this was about 6 years ago, and I remember reading this quote and finally realizing that my life was literally a representation of my crazy, busy, go, go, go mornings. There was no room for me in it. I was running around, putting out fires and addressing other people's issues. I never felt grounded, and my energy was depleted by late afternoon, if not before that. It was in that moment, as I was reading that quote, that I decided that I needed to release a couple of limiting beliefs. One, that I don't have time, because that was always a belief that I held on to, that there was never enough time. I didn't have time, definitely didn't have time to do self-care, because that just felt selfish and indulgent. It felt like all the things that I wasn't supposed to do. And then the other limiting belief is that everyone else comes first all of the time. So when I decided to relieve these limiting beliefs, because it was obvious that they weren't serving, I was still exhausted, I wasn't really showing up the way that I wanted to show up, I decided to give a morning ritual a try and to see what happens in 30 days. Because I figured, you know what, I can do anything for 30 days. And lo and behold, at the end of those 30 days, I was sold. I realized that each day we get to choose the day that we are going to have. And morning rituals really allow that to come into reality. This is when you have an opportunity to choose your intention and flow for the day. So you can decide how you want your day to look like. That was never a concept I had an idea about until I got and created a morning ritual. Now I have found that if you start your day without a morning routine, you are subjected to whatever is getting thrown at you, depending on other people's needs and agenda, your caffeine intake, your blood sugar levels. I mean, honestly, who knows what's coming at you? And I promise this will lead to less energy over time because your body and your hormones are having to respond to the constant barrage of incoming tasks and fires. Gosh, that used to just be my life. When it comes to creating a morning ritual, as I mentioned earlier, it's about what serves you. I actually have 2 morning rituals, one that I call the Cadillac version, and then the other one that I call the quick and dirty version. Now, not every day is a Cadillac day, but I always want to honor myself and take care of me before I go out into the world and take care of it. So I'm going to share with you the Cadillac version and the quick and dirty version, and just note, there can be many different versions that you have. It's really about you, again, setting the tone, grounding yourself, and setting the flow that you want for your day. Because, man, everything can shift from there. So the Cadillac version is clearly longer, and honestly, it's my favorite. In the Cadillac version, I start my morning with an essential oil, typically a citrus essential oil like tangerine, because they are literally energy bunnies and they are happy neurotransmitter boosters. And it always just makes me feel so good. Then I make a matcha latte with almond milk while listening to my 3-year vivid vision for my life that I've recorded on my phone. After that, I sit down on my couch, I grab my Speed Dial the Universe journal, and this is the journal I've been writing in for the last 11 years, and I love it because it's already done for you. All I have to do is fill in the blanks. Next, I read my affirmations that are actually inside of my Speed Dial the Universe journal. And then I meditate for 10 minutes and do a couple minutes of breath work. Now this whole process, because again, I am still an efficient person, I just can't seem to shake that, takes about 35 minutes. Now, I should also note that outside of playing my recorded vision statement, I do not check my phone or get into my phone, because I know if I go anywhere near my email or social media, it's all over. People get instant access to you the second you get into your phone, and it can feel like you've lost your self-care time. It's so easy to get sucked into replying to comments, DMs, emails, and now you're on other people's agendas. So no phone unless I'm listening to my recorded vision and maybe listening to a meditation on my phone. That is a rule. I don't start looking at my phone till well after my morning ritual. Now, for the quick and dirty version, it's clearly quick and dirty. It's a lot shorter than my 35-minute version, my Cadillac. I grab my oil, because let's be honest, it takes like 2 seconds. I make my matcha, because I gotta have that. I listen to my vision while I'm making my matcha, because I'm knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone. And then I write in my journal. This version takes me 20 minutes, because I believe that we all have 20 minutes to take care of ourselves before we take care of anybody else, right? We can always get up an extra 20 minutes early to just sit with ourselves and enjoy the moment. Now, the reason why I'm sharing with you both of these rituals that I do in the morning is I want you to know that you can have it any kind of way you like. It could be that your self-care is going outside with your coffee, sipping it for 10 minutes, and then thinking of 3 things that you are grateful for in the morning. Now, I want to share some other ideas to consider for your morning ritual that can take 20 minutes or less, although I do love that 20-minute zone of genius. It really allows you to focus on you, and man, let's be honest, 20 minutes flies by. Now, what I love so much about having these rituals is that they can create a massive shift in your energy and your emotional well-being. Just knowing that you are putting yourself first, that there is worthiness around you and your wellness and your health, it shifts everything. So here are some other things that your morning ritual could or could not include. Totally up to you. 1, having just a belief in yourself, a worthiness around health, as I just mentioned. Breathing deeply. Being positive about your day. Eating right. Drinking water, so hydrating, right? Movement. It could be yoga. It could be walking outside, getting where you fit in, whatever feels good to you. Journaling. I especially love gratitude journaling and day setting, so I really know what my day is going to look like that day. Meditation, whether it's a 5-minute meditation or a 10-minute meditation or even longer meditation, depending on what feels good for you. Using your oil, so using your aromatherapy. Smile and compliment yourself in the mirror. Very easy to do. I know it can be a little uncomfortable at first, but man, it makes a big difference. Celebrate your wins, maybe yesterday's wins or whatever wins you want to celebrate. Gratitude, whether it's 3 things, 5 things, or 10 things that you want to be grateful for that day. Reading something that you love, like a great novel or a personal development book, and affirmations. Any and all of these things, one of these things, are all wonderful ways to start your day. And once you pick out 1 to 2 rituals that feel good to you, the final step is saying yes to you and choosing in. Deciding that you are worthy of self-care can be the hardest part. Shifting that belief was the most difficult part for me, because until I could honor myself enough, I wasn't going to implement new changes that focused on my needs. This quote kept showing up for me during that time where I was grappling with this morning ritual. Every next level of your life will demand a different version of you. I had to tell myself that what was going to get me to that higher energetic state will look very different than what brought me to the low energetic place that I was in. And that meant I had to change my belief, my consciousness, my habits, and how I lived my life. Once that shift happened, the actual self-care was easy. And the self-care benefits and rewards are everything. They don't show up just physically. They show up emotionally. They show up in our confidence. They show up in the way that we have conversations with other people. Honestly, in the way that we just show up in the world. Now, if you're on Instagram, I would love for you to reach out to me at Dr. Mariza. That's DrMariza, because I would love to hear which morning rituals you are already doing or ones that you're interested in trying out next week, because honestly, now is the best time to get started. Now, if you would like more rituals and recipes, like literally done for you, just got to plug and play, I have an amazing bonus for you. My top 11 wellness rituals guide, along with my energy boosting guide. These come with recipes, these come with how-tos, basically everything you need to get started. It's a part of my Vitality Bundle. I call it the Energy and Vitality Bundle, and I will have it in the show notes for this episode 209. This is my gift to you so that you don't have to think about it. You don't have to go and research it. It's just all done for you. And maybe just take a little, print it out, circle the 2 that you want to get started with, and then bam, you've got a morning ritual. Now I want to say thank you so much for stopping by and joining me today on the Essentially You podcast. I hope that if you haven't considered a morning ritual, that after today, you are definitely down to start. Now, next week, I invited a dear friend of mine, John Assaraf, to the show to shed light on how to overcome fear, stress, and more limiting beliefs by changing how your brain functions. His techniques are used all over the world, and they can literally change how your brain is processing trauma, stress, and fear in a matter of seconds. I am super excited for you to walk away with some powerful tools in this next episode coming up to create a life that you love. Until then, have an amazing week, have an amazing summer, and I'll see you in the next episode.